Podcast. Everyone gets a podcast.
Yay! Your jingle was amazing.
Oh, it's a good one.
I like it.
So, take it, Nikki.
No, that was all we should have.
You think that was
can't
enough?
add too much. Maybe tomorrow I'll do my own jingle.
Okay.
Maybe not. Maybe we won't remember.
Oh, stretching. A lot of yawning in the podcast today.
Lots of normal Mondaying.
Lots of
Dizzy?
A little dizzy.
Hey, sign up the Benadryl withdrawal.
It's sad. It's sad how we get dizzy.
Is that in this podcast? Did it make it in here?
In the podcast, you'll find out what happened and why I took so much Benadryl this weekend and how it's not a symptom to be hungry. So we thought it would be, but it wasn't. Also in the podcast today, Swine Apples, $1 million bills, Marvel's Inhumans, figuring out when you grow up, Charlotte's Web, ice cream, action figures,
we got
plushies,
a lot.
Paranoia.
There's a lot of choices there.
There's a lot here.
You should hopefully enjoy this. And don't forget, you can now check out our podcast in various ways. So if normally you are a podcast listener, say like through iTunes, but you want to check it out on our Facebook page, you can now join us at Radio U Riot or maybe our YouTube channel at Radio U Riot. Our podcast is going to more places now. Yay!
I can't remember what I was going to say. Must be the Benadryl. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you guys. This is one of 2 podcasts with Nikki you're getting this week, and then you won't hear from her for a week and a half.
I'll be gone.
She's going to be gone forever-ish.
Will I be gone forever, or will I come back? We'll find out.
I thought last night, I was like, when Nikki gets a taste of the free life, she ain't coming back. That's it. She's done.
I'd come back. Well, I don't know. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how you and Hudson do. Maybe you'll enjoy Hudson. And you'd be like, I would like a break. And
what, from you?
Yeah.
I'm getting a week and a half. That's enough.
That's plenty.
It's enough.
It should be enough for you to just get used to Hudson just by that point.
I'm sure there's something there.
Enjoy the podcast today and have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Hey, that was Nikki's hint that if you guys wanted to come back, you better say something. You know what I'm saying? It's the riot.
Well, it makes you feel nice to be appreciated.
It's the riot.
The worst of the riot. Proof that you're already living in that dark future dystopia. Radio U.
Today I'm in a drug-infused stupor.
A Benadryl leftover weekend.
I spent the entire day yesterday taking Benadryl, which if you've never done, I really don't recommend it. On the one hand, I was able to just sit down in a way that I can never do. I didn't care what happened. I just sat there all day.
It makes your ability to react and stuff just not be there.
No.
And you're just very mellow, which is what it's supposed to do. Because usually if you're taking Benadryl, you've got some sort of reaction.
Oh, yeah.
And your body needs to chill out then.
So here's what happened to me yesterday. I got up yesterday morning and went running because, I was going to a groundbreaking. So I wanted to make sure I was ready. That's a true story.
Yeah.
And so I was going to run, have some breakfast, take a shower, go to this thing. Won't it be wonderful? And so I'm out running. I went the way I normally do. This little lady that I've never seen before, and I mean, really, she was a lot shorter than I was. That wasn't just me being, hey, little lady.
Degrading.
No. I just waved at her. I wave at everybody when I run.
Yeah.
And then about 15 seconds later, if even that, I was on one knee screaming, holding my eye because a bee flew into my eyelid. At least it got my eyelid and not my eye and stung me immediately.
I think that's so weird. Can you lift your glasses? Which eye is it?
You can barely tell now.
Is it this one on this side? Yeah, it's still a little red and swollen.
It's definitely swollen, but it's workable.
Sure.
Way better than, say, what it looked like yesterday. So I'm over a mile away from my house, and so I ended up calling one of my roommates, like, hey, I need a ride. Oh, but I forgot to mention the other great part. This lady who speaks no English comes over to help me. She gets stung by a bee.
You said you hit a swarm or something?
There's like this, I didn't realize it when I was running, but because I wasn't wearing glasses, because why would I need them? There's this like swarm of bees in the road, like literally like spinning around. It felt like something in a video game, like, all right, I need to come back here with the bee suit and I'll be able to get the treasure. Because, I mean, they're just like all over the place. It's just like, what's going on?
How odd. I'm glad you don't have a bee allergy being that far away from home.
Yes. The only thing I'm going to say, and this is real talk just between us, the bees were in front of the weird house. And so you have to wonder, like...
We all have the weird place in the neighborhood.
We do.
Everybody does.
And
it's like, are those your bees?
I'm not kidding. And it was like I wanted to go to the door like, hey, guys,
Why are there bees
I don't know what weird thing you guys are doing, but there's a big thing of bees out in front of your house.
Do they have any boxes in the backyard? Are
they beekeepers?
Yeah, are they beekeepers and some got loose?
I don't know.
Well, I'm glad you're okay outside of it. You had to go through all that.
Right. So Benadryl all day yesterday. What I began to realize is Benadryl actually makes me incredibly grumpy.
Yeah.
Like I finally was just like, I'm going downstairs. Just no one come downstairs. Like I'm not a good person. Just leave me alone.
Aaron texted and said beehives swarm like that when they're looking for a new home. Maybe they fought with the weird house. They had a fight and they were leaving, and you caught them right when they were leaving.
Could be.
Thank goodness they didn't follow you home.
Yeah.
Like, he's our new hive.
Why don't you go to his house?
Oh, man, that is weird.
It was all very weird. So I didn't go to that groundbreaking, by the way. And I just sat there. I don't know. Not awesome, but it was just one of those things where it's like, well, that's something for the show.
That's it. At least you've got that, right?
In order to build muscle, you need protein. Protein is in eggs. Eggs are in cupcakes. You need cupcakes. It's the Riot.
Trying to avoid processed foods. Don't want all that MSG. It'll make you blow. It will. Well, then you may not be interested in Nikki and I's trip to Japan that we have to take. We really have to.
One day we will. Maybe when we retire and that's like our parting gift, or maybe before then, or maybe after.
Or maybe
sometime soon.
They can ship our cold dead bodies to Japan for a tour.
Cheaper than if we were alive.
Well, you could fly cargo then, I suppose.
Probably so.
All right. So, Nikki, the great people in Japan at the Biotherapy Development Research Center want to sell you ice cream. Ooh.
What's so special about this ice cream?
Biotherapy Development Research Center? They're making ice cream there? What does it taste like?
Is it like
icy hot?
Yeah, I was going to say, is it good for your body somehow? If it melts on you, does it help your muscles?
Well, it's not actually. They ended up kind of accidentally developing a little something they call strawberry extract. And what it does is that it keeps oil and water that's in ice cream from separating, which is apparently what causes ice cream to melt. I didn't know that. Did you?
Not at all.
Okay.
Oh, so it stays frozen longer then? All the time?
It maintains its shape. They say that ice cream that has been treated with this strawberry extract, which, by the way, does it taste like strawberry? Because I'm not sure. But if it's treated with the strawberry extract, it holds its shape all the way up to 82 degrees.
So it won't melt.
So the example they gave, apparently these like ice cream treats have been on sale in a small area in Japan since April, but they hit Tokyo and Osaka this week. And so people are excited to get these confectionery ice cream shapes.
They say even if you use a hairdryer on them, they will not melt. So
I'm sure it's good for you. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with it. I'm sure that we're all going to go home and the apocalypse is not about to start.
Like this ice cream stays in your stomach forever. You're like, it won't melt. But for this,
gosh, I didn't even think about that.
Well, I'm sure your stomach
can't digest it.
I'm sure your stomach breaks it down, but mostly this is because some of these ice cream treats that they're promoting are done like this. Looks like a pig with some clothes on or something. So they're supposed to be cute, and
that's an abomination.
You don't want them to melt when you buy them. So that's why.
Don't you think that's supposed to be a bear?
I think that looks like a pig.
I'll see.
Maybe it is a bear.
I see a bear with a smiley face.
What's the middle thing? Those are kind of actually ugly.
Well, you know what, Nikki? Okay, if you were out and the ice cream man was selling it, you'd be like, I eat it.
Well, actually, the ones down below are cuter. Like there's a Christmas tree and some sort of look like swirly things, and that looks more like a bear. It's when they try to put the clothes on it.
Because that's an abomination.
It's just as weird.
It is kind of weird. I'd try it, though. And they say that while the ice cream will not remain cold, it does remain cool. So it would be cooler than...
And you have plenty of time to take your picture, which I think is what we're all heading towards.
That is the most important thing, that you get the picture. The other option, too, is while I was on vacation this summer, I definitely saw, what do you call it?
Gonna have to give me more than that. Yeah,
cotton candy that was shaped like animals.
The flowers one and the animal ones, those are cool too.
I will tell you, they were more aesthetically pleasing than this. But boy, I do like eating the ice cream, right?
You don't have to apologize unless you've done something wrong.
Well, I'm sorry. I can't even think straight right now.
This is the worst of the riot. We're very, very sorry.
Question of the morning. Tell me, who is the author who wrote Charlotte's Web?
A literature question today, and He's got your answer. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good. What's your answer? Who wrote Charlotte's Web?
It is E.B. White.
There you
are
go.
correct.
Have a wonderful morning. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
So this is in the news because E.B. White, the author of Charlotte's Web, the farm that he lived on until he died in 1985, is up for sale.
So you can have the Charlotte's Web farm.
And that includes the barn where the book was written, where Wilbur, the pig, met Charlotte, the spider, and they lived until Charlotte died and then had kids. So,
Yes.
or had kids and then died.
Sure, that one came first, so
Yeah.
that's fine. It's been a while since I've read that. I was very young.
Yeah, we read Charlotte's Web when we were in third grade, and they brought in, made a hog trough of ice cream that we then got to eat when the book was over.
Really?
Yep.
Everybody just got to mosey on up to the ice cream trough and eat?
I could be wrong, but as I remember it, it seemed that Andy Weaver actually stuck his face down in and ate the ice cream like a hog.
Was he also in your class?
Yeah.
Well,
I just remember eating with a spoon, but it's cool.
I don't think they would maybe want you to do the stick your head in because it's a little bit degrading.
I think they were okay with that.
Oh, they were?
But I mean, some people.
I don't recall that. I just remember us reading the book.
I just want to point out, Nikki, that you're concerned about children being degraded, but that was a very specious comment because you just acted like someone behaving as a pig was incorrect because I think...
More or less the mess that would make at school when one would have the rest of the day and you still have ice cream all over you.
Nikki, that's expression. That's art.
It is.
That's creativity.
I don't think anybody, animal or human, should be just going up to the trough. Put your hair quotes up there.
Yeah. So it's for sale.
Make it seem nice. Let's call it a buffet.
That sounds delicious.
Yes, it does.
So the couple that has been maintaining the farm since his death, they bought it then. They say that they basically have put a lot of work into keeping it as it was, even though, of course, the house is lived in.
Does it say, did they buy it as fans of him, or did they just buy the farm? Which sounds like they died, but...
Must have been a mixture of both on some level, because they have... They say they've gone to great lengths to especially keep the barn as it was. They also say they get lots of visitors every year, which E.B. White apparently was a very private person.
So when he died, then they finally were able to come see it?
They say that he would have hated it, that all these people came to his barn, but a lot of people do. So they're selling it now. You can buy the farm. And Nikki,
and walk up to the trough if you'd like.
This is a good starter farm for you, I think.
How much? Because I feel like they're going to add some money to it because of who owned it, and I don't need to pay that money.
I got about $3.7 million.
Oh, that's so expensive.
Well, but Nikki,
for a farm,
it's going to generate income.
No,
You've
got
to go at it as a business investment.
That's too much money.
Let's see, it's 44 acres. And what about the house itself? Looks like the house is about 5,000 square feet.
And I was worried when you said one thing, that they made it a point to try to keep the barn as original.
Yeah.
To me, that sends out warning bells in a real estate sort of world of they didn't fix it up.
Oh, okay.
It's not modernized. They didn't touch it. And when they say, we didn't touch it, because it's preserved, to me, that seems like I'd have to fix it up.
Well, there's a difference between preserved and left completely alone.
They might have done that. They might have.
I mean, you are right. There are catchphrases.
They said it.
There are catchphrases.
They haven't touched it.
The Riot.
Apparently some of the less athletic types go nuts for this stuff.
Radio U.
I just can't recommend enough that you just don't take Benadryl ever.
Yesterday, someone got stung by a bee in the eyelid, and so they took Benadryl yesterday.
It's killing me.
Your body's just probably still not only just the Benadryl, but the allergy stuff.
Oh my gosh, dude!
And the stress.
And the other thing is, and okay, I realize we're always this, but this is different. I am starving. I'm so hungry. And I got up and had
normal breakfast?
Normal to substantial. Like, I ate some breakfast, and right now, I could eat this whole room.
But do you think it is the Benadryl?
I don't know, is it? Now, I've got right here the side effects of Benadryl. Are you ready? Okay. Oh, wait, you know what? I got to click here because there's more. So we're going to make sure we get all of them.
Give it time for the virus to come.
All right, drowsiness?
Yeah.
Wait.
Ding.
Let's make sure we're completely ready for this.
I want to see if you hit all the Benadryl points.
Okay. Fatigue? Oh, honey. Tiredness?
Yeah.
Okay, sleepiness? Dizziness? I had some of that last night. I'll give it that. Disturbed coordination.
So what does
What do you
that
think
mean?
that means?
Like maybe you think you're moving, but you're not really.
I think maybe like you knock stuff on. Okay,
Maybe
we're going to go
you're-
iffy on that.
Possibly.
Dry mouth, nose, and throat.
Nah.
Not really. No. Okay, not going to read that. Upset stomach, double vision, tremor,
Nah.
loss of appetite.
No. All right, we get it. You're
Okay.
hungry.
Headache, nausea.
Now, it seems like you hit some of the top ones, and that's it then.
Yeah.
Why don't you Google what it would be instead of the results from Benadryl, but the results of it just, again, being a Monday?
Okay, of Monday side effects?
Because I think your Monday side effects sound a lot like your Benadryl side effects.
Monday morning syndrome. That's real. It's something that cardiologists have come up with. Let's see what
Let's
it
see
says.
how many you hit of that.
Well, I'd be happy to read it to you, but this pop-up ad, wait, here we go. When people ignite emotions, something happens inside. It could be anything. I don't know what this is. Forget it. What about, okay, let's see about the bee sting.
Bee sting? Yeah.
Side effects.
Side effects when it's your eyelid?
Okay, bee sting, symptoms and causes. Well, causes are you get stung by a bee. Thanks, Mayo Clinic.
They want to make sure, though.
Mild reaction, instant sharp burning pain at the sting site, a red welt, slight swelling. Moderate, extreme redness.
Anything, though, like emotions-wise?
And nothing here about being really hungry or sleepy. That's not in here.
I'm
so
surprised.
Are you telling me I can't blame the Benadryl for how hungry I am or whatever? I'm just the tired?
I mean, I think based on its side effects, you should be not feeling hungry.
I'm so hungry.
So maybe this is how your body reacts to it and the emotions and the stress. You know how people respond to stress differently? You were under a stressful situation yesterday.
I was attacked by a bee, Nikki.
Your body thinks it dying. And so when it's like, oh, are we dying? What do we got to do? We got to eat to live.
Eat.
We got to live.
All the stress is causing you to eat because your body is like, oh my gosh, I have to survive.
Totally. Like
Yes.
your body was almost ready to start burning fat. So it needed food.
It had to make sure it got a
It
bunch
was
of food.
scared.
Okay. I'm scared for it.
Well,
I'm scared
again,
right now.
we're thankful you're here. It's your bee sting in the eye.
Glad he made it, guys.
Glad he made it.
Because otherwise we wouldn't know if he was hungry or not. So it's a good thing
Well,
he's
we
here.
find that out anyways during the day.
Well, and we got, did you know the Benadryl side effects? I didn't.
Now we know together.
Now we know all
That's
of them.
great.
Yep.
Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome. I didn't bring any. I can't take any more.
Sure.
Because I can't take this. I can't take it.
Now, that is a side effect. I do know that. That right there.
Imagine a world where the Riot never talks and it's glorious Radio U music for hours on end. Now, imagine the opposite of that. You're already there. It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
Now, just to be clear, I don't have an answer here. But,
This is just a statement?
well, it's an article with a question.
Mm-hmm.
The question is the headline, and I want to ask you, Nikki, to see if you can tell me. Here's what it says. When are you really an adult?
An adult?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is a question. I think if you start acting or trying to feel like you're an adult, even if you're younger, that helps you because then when it is adulting time, you're kind of a little bit more prepared.
Yeah.
You shouldn't put it off and be not want that label on you because I always acted very adult, even when I was younger.
Yeah. But don't you feel like sometimes the push
I
to
lost
act
my
like an
childhood
adult
with it.
actually stunts your growth to true adulthood?
No, because now that I know how to balance money and do day-to-day things, I'm probably for the better for it.
Here's the question I have when I think about quote-unquote adulthood. Like, at what point do you grow up? Is I feel like in society, what I see is a lot of us we're not actually growing up. We're learning to suppress behavior. And I don't know that that's the same thing. I feel like true growth would have to result in a like you wouldn't have to suppress behavior because the behavior would not be there. Like the root of the behavior you would address. The suppression of behavior to me is just growing up like a certain part of you, but you've still got, that thing. So your first instinct is not to do the right thing or be mature. It's that you have to make yourself do that. So it's like you develop an inner parent, but that person inside is not changing.
I think if it's just a nice, healthy grouping of, you keep your job, you've got, you're responsible for a few things.
Responsibility?
I think responsibility. I think if you understand your responsibility, but all right, so you still like to play video games.
I do.
It doesn't mean...
I really do.
It doesn't mean that you can't be an adult and still play video games.
Sure.
It just means you're responsible with everything that you're doing.
So I only play video games after the chores are done.
Meaning, that's not the funnest thing ever, but
it's not fun.
You know that there are certain things you have to do first.
Yeah, okay.
But you can still do all the things you still wanted to do before you were #adulting.
Okay. So then we don't really know what time,
Probably not.
What year it happens.
Everybody's different.
So here's a lot of people responded in this article. This girl says that she felt like at 28 she was finally an adult.
Oh, I think you should feel that earlier than that.
Oh, really?
But maybe.
So,
maybe not.
Here's a guy. He says he's 21. He's not yet an adult. That's what he says. I do think circumstance, it depends on the person.
Yeah, like if you go to college, what you're doing. If you're still at home.
Well, just to be clear, if you go to college, that actually delays growing up.
Sure, true.
I'm just going to let you, as someone that's done that, I can tell you.
But if you don't go to college.
Yeah. All right. Well, I was just wondering what you would say, Nikki, if you had a magic
time frame
magic
for
moment.
No, but I think I probably started leaning more towards the adulting stuff, maybe 17, 18, 19. So
that's very early.
Well, I got an early job. I was a planner.
Okay.
I was a planner.
All right. All right. Well, when I hit that point, we're going to have this conversation again, and I'm going to tell you about it. Like when I feel it.
He hasn't felt that yet.
But I feel like it's coming
You're
soon.
You're just a few years behind.
Remember when we said things couldn't get any worse? We were wrong. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Anytime you hear us talking and you want to get in, you can always call 877-2-RADIO-U. You can also text, just like this person whose name I do not know, says Danny's whining on Iron Fist rivals Barry Allen's and Arrow's combined.
So,
that's Flash and Arrow.
So not a good thing?
There's something to that. He's supposed to be naive, but sometimes he just seems really stupid.
Sure, and then the whining comes out.
Yeah. There's that, and then I want to say what's up to Shrew. Just got an Oculus Rift over the weekend. Robo Recall is a blast.
Nice. If you are getting more into virtual reality, you can check out Obadiah Plays through Radio U Right on YouTube. And, of course, on our Radio U Right Facebook page, Obi does a couple of virtual reality games on his Oculus Rift, which you can locate and watch there.
All right, Nikki, do you want to stick with the Nerd TV angle? We've been on it for a little while, but I got one last piece.
If you'd like to, or we can switch.
We could hit that later if you want.
Whatever you think.
We've waited long enough. Just go. I just want you to know that the other big, nerdy Marvel TV premiere that's coming this month, well, technically next month, 1st of September, is Marvel's Inhumans. And last week, I didn't know about this. They sent a screener out to critics. Everyone hated it.
Really? What channel's that? Or
it's going to be on ABC. But they want you to go see it at the IMAX on September 1st, where you can pay to see something you'd normally watch for free.
Pay to see it to be really, really bad.
Yeah.
So not too interested in that then after hearing that?
Did you watch the trailer? When Eric and I watched it the first time, it was like, wait.
Which was that
what?
one? Was that the one where they were in the elevator for a moment, or was that something else?
Okay.
Was that a teaser?
Don't hate me for saying this, but a lot of elevator moments out there.
No, there was a teaser earlier in the year where it was a couple of people were in an elevator, and then they're like, "Here's the clues," because the floor number was such and such. And remember that?
I don't actually.
I can't recall if that was for that show, but I thought it was.
No, Inhumans.
Or maybe that was Defenders.
It's like, yes, that's actually what that is. You're right. No, with Inhumans, it's like they live on the moon. And
stop talking about it. It just sounds so stupid. And normally I try to play along like, I'm so excited for you. It sounds stupid.
No, I think it looks terrible. The stuff that they've put on ABC, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I can't watch it. It's too dumb.
Yeah, but maybe this one's so dumb that makes that one look so good.
Maybe, but I can't watch it.
Just stick with that, okay? Don't you dare watch it.
I liked Agent Carter, even though it wasn't perfect. It was at least interesting as a period piece.
The worst of the riot has no expiration date. It's born spoiled. It's the riot on Radio U.
You ever seen $1 million bill before? They're real. Fake!
I was going to say, I don't think it is.
They're not real, Nikki. And Dennis Strickland on Thursday of last week.
Oh, he was the guy who was confused about that, wasn't he?
He came in with $1 million bill and wanted to deposit it. Now, the bank teller says she became confused and concerned when she saw that he normally doesn't carry more than about $500 in the bank.
Sure. It's like, well, why does he suddenly have access to this $1 million bill?
Where'd you get the $1 million bill there, buddy? Huh? So he became apparently a little belligerent when they
would deposit it.
Yeah, he wanted to deposit it. And they were like, well, we're going to need something. So they ended up calling the police. The police came down and they asked him to empty his pockets, and that's when he pulled out the meth, and that's when they were like, okay.
So in his mind, he was probably really convinced that this $1 million bill was correct.
Or he just thought he was convincing.
Yes, he was. He could pull it off.
He could pull it off.
I wonder what the $1 million bill looked like.
There are no photos of it. That's what I want to see.
To see it. Like, was it just written, like colored in on a piece of scrap paper, or did it actually look like a bill?
I feel
like a novelty one.
See, I feel like he walked in there with a crayon colored piece of paper. That's what I feel like.
I don't think this is a bill, and then he got mad.
I mean, that may not be true, but that's what it feels like to me.
Because meth can make you convinced of quite a lot of stuff.
Oh, so many things, Nikki. So many things. So he got busted, and I just thought maybe Nikki and I could take a moment and let you know that if you don't know, the United States Treasury has never printed a $1 million bill.
Okay, now that the confusion's put aside, you don't have to be looking for one or even try to make one. They're not going to take it.
So it turns out, let's see, technically they are legal tender, but there was a $5,000 and a $10,000 bill
at one point
that were officially discontinued on last printed December 27th, 1945. Are we boring you, Nikki? I'm sorry.
No one had to know I was yawning. No one had to know.
I heard it.
No,
I heard it. I heard it. Then the $5,000 and $10,000
when I hear numbers,
bills,
I just start tuning out.
Were officially discontinued July 14th, 1969.
Great. Okay.
So, well, I guess that's it for the money talk.
I used to sleep a lot in, math class and stuff. School, just in general.
Meetings.
No.
Just, whatever.
Well, you're giving me a lot of details, and it was just too much.
Mornings are for coffee and contemplation.
Chief, she's...
Coffee and contemplation.
And the riot. Obviously. Radio U.
Oh, does not look good.
Here comes the game of, is he talking about food, or is it a story, or what does not look good?
All right, Nikki, have you ever heard of a swine apple?
A swine apple?
Oh, yeah.
Is it like for a pig, or?
Well, here's what you do. You take yourself a pineapple, all right?
Yeah.
You wrap the outside in bacon. Then you stuff the inside with pork, whatever. Like pork belly, not pork belly, but like pork pieces.
Okay.
Like pork fillet, I don't know, whatever the heck you make out of pork.
A pork
you shove
chop.
it in there, and then you put it in the oven.
Ooh.
And then you eat that.
Yeah, or some people like to barbecue it, looks like. 5 hours on the barbecue, and you've got it.
5 hours?
I've never seen this, a swine apple.
Swine apple. Boneless pork loin, that's what they're saying you stuff it with. While I'll give them credit, so they must take the outside of the pineapple off, like the hard exterior,
yes,
right?
probably so.
So then when you eat it, it's got an odd look to it. It's basically this piece of bacon, pineapple, and ham.
But it kind of looks like a loaf because you can't really tell it's got pineapple inside of it. But, you take the outside of a pineapple and then you core it, and then that's what you stuff the stuff in.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you like the pineapple, bacon, ham thing?
I like pineapple, especially grilled pineapple. It's super, super good. Not a fan of pork chops. Bacon, yeah, that'll do. So maybe depending on what we stuff it with.
So here's my thing. Like, to me, a lot of people are saying, like, oh my gosh, if you love pineapple on pizza, you're going to go crazy for this. Because here in the United States, we call it Canadian bacon and pineapple. And I don't like that on pizza. I don't really like pineapple. I am told that if I would get a real pineapple,
you'd know the
fresh
difference?
pineapple, then I would love it. But that all of the pineapple I've encountered has been weak, third-string pineapple-y substances.
I had a pineapple at the Dole Plantation in Hawaii.
Yes.
And I was younger, but I remember it being very good.
Well, I
But
will tell
now
you,
it'd be like wherever you get yours now. I mean, that's what you're going to get.
They say, I was listening to those of you that are fans of the Radio U Throwback channel know that I'm a fan of the Supertones. Jason, their drummer, he at one point told a story of going to Hawaii and eating pineapple, and it was like the most glorious thing he had ever had. And ever since then, like, pineapple doesn't taste good to him.
He just can't eat it.
Because it's just not good. It's just not as good.
Well, you stick it on a barbecue for 5 hours, though. I bet you it'll be just fine.
I think it'll bring out the highlighted flavors.
Swine Apple, they're calling it Instagram's trend, a food trend for this summer.
Okay. You know what this reminds me of, Nikki? This weekend, I did my food test. If you guys haven't been keeping score, I went on a cleanse and I slowly reintroduced food to see how my body handles different kinds of food.
To find if there's something that it does not like, and then you stop eating that.
Yeah, so I tested bacon this weekend.
And?
Off the menu. I had a terrible reaction to bacon.
It?
Yep.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
but then there's levels. Like, what if it was that type of bacon?
Well, that's very true. And so if I became like really frustrated or like
You'd
whatever,
have to try others.
I could try different kinds of bacon. But that's the kind of bacon I've cooked for years.
Yeah.
And I love that bacon. It's very good. It's very salty.
It does
far
not
saltier
love
than I
you.
thought. No. My body is like, my brain says yes, but my body says no.
And you had a bourbon chicken last week, and it seems like salt stuff, like very high sodium things, it does not like.
Yeah, but my body doesn't like it, but I like it.
Starting your day with the worst of the riot is a great idea because it's guaranteed to get better from here. It's The Riot on Radio U.
I want to be a kid again. In fact, I'm going to go all the way back to say that, like, even if I just had to go back to college, that would be great. And I'll tell you why. When you're young, people celebrate the dumbest little stuff that you do. They're like, oh, you climbed the stair. Yeah.
Good job. Were you doing that, to go to classes or to work, and no one's clapping for you?
No, but even, heck, all the way through college, they're like, you got a part-time job and go to school? You're the best. Yeah. And then as soon as you graduate, people are like, shut up and get to work. Nobody cares about you. No awards are given here. This is a negative environment. You only get spoken to if you don't measure up. Otherwise, get back out there, drone.
Now, you sound the part, and he's pointing as well, so he really seemed like a boss there.
Yeah, it's real. Because, and again, I feel like all of this is bubbling back up. My frustration about life outside of the educational system. Because NASA has let everybody know about 9-year-old Jack Davis, who applied for the Planetary Protection Officer. Isn't it so great that Jack wants to be the Planetary Protection Officer?
Is that position they were hiring for?
Yeah.
It was an actual position.
It's a real job.
But man, you had to have some schooling for that.
He sent NASA a handwritten letter. He says, I may be 9, but I think I would be a fit for the job.
Now, okay, I'd be more annoyed if it was a 9-year-old who was smart enough, who had gone through all that school early and was eligible for the job. But are you talking like this is a cute little letter, like the 9-year-old is not able to actually do the job but wants to?
He says, I'm young, so I can learn to think like an alien. Plus, he's seen all the Men in Black movies and the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
It's actually an impressive resume then.
Well, guess what? Me too. But if I had sent a handwritten letter to NASA telling them why I was qualified for the job, all of a sudden, I'm this pathetic thing. But if all of a sudden I was 9 and I did it, let's write the press release and let everybody know about 9-year-old Jack.
Well, they would have still written the press release but ridiculed you. Now, for the 9-year-old, though, he celebrated and could very well get a better job then because of this starting off point.
Well, he got a letter back from the head of NASA telling him how excited they were that he applied for the position and that they're always on the lookout for young scientific minds.
Not weirdo older people.
He's not technically, qualified, but everyone's all excited about it.
Maybe he'll get to be an intern when he's older.
Again, like if I would think about this, Nikki, if I was 15 and I got a job and I went to work every day, 5 days a week, like, man, my parents would be like, we're so proud of you. This is so great. And you're keeping your grades up. And you know what? We're so proud of all that initiative. As an adult, nobody tells me that. In fact, again, the only time somebody's saying anything is like, you didn't show up.
If something was wrong.
What's the problem?
So do you want some more affirmation or what do you need?
You know what? I'll tell you what. I either want more affirmation, but I am on a limited time basis. You've got 24 hours to think it through. I'm willing to accept more money instead of the affirmation.
Oh, sure. Okay, well, let me talk to our department.
Well, I'll talk to NASA, see if I can get that job. Like, that was six figures.
I know, but we haven't gone nearly enough for the schooling that's required for that.
Well, you know what? Little Jack got his press release. How about
little Obi? Why don't you write it like a 9-year-old?
You think, okay.
Will that give you the attention that you need with it?
See, like, you're back to it being about attention. I just want people to think I'm doing a good job.
What if you lie and say you're 9? And then it's like, you know how they have those movies where like, well, we went back to school and you're lying about being in high school?
Yeah.
I haven't heard or seen one where it's back to 9 and like in your actual body right now, though.
Actually, oddly enough, if you watch one of the worst movies ever made.
Is it?
It starred Robin Williams and oddly enough was called Jack.
Oh, is that about? But he's still in his same body, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not talking like.
He had some thing that made him age. So he was like, he looked like he was 40, but he was actually 8 or something.
I mean, everything's perfectly fine with you. You're just lying.
Oh, well, I mean, I do that anyway.
Anyways, so. But this would be for the NASA job.
How do you think I got this job?
That's true. Well, we thought you were 10, so you didn't lie as much.
All right.
Don't want to talk to the Riot? We completely understand. Text instead. 877-2-RADIO-U.
You know, Nikki, I've got a reputation.
Meaning?
What's
your reputation?
I did a lot of soul searching. On Saturday, my friend of mine opened a coffee shop, and I went to his coffee shop, and it was good. I got a pour over, which he did himself.
And you got some new beans.
Yeah, and so I took that coffee, and instead of sitting around, I went shopping, and I went a lot of different places. And there's this, I feel like, reputation I have that I'll just buy anything. Just buy.
Which
just buy.
Not true. You like to look.
Love to look.
But you don't always buy.
So one of the things that emerged, it's a two-part story. Okay, first off, you and I have not talked about the fact, Eric revealed to me last week that he was under the assumption that I had like hundreds of action figures. Like just tons and tons of action figures.
He thought you had all those many action figures?
Yeah, that I just had all of these action figures, yeah.
But you don't?
No, I don't. But I wanted to ask, did you think that I had a ton of action figures everywhere?
I know you did not, and I remember you got rid of a lot of them.
I did.
I only know that you have a few select ones that are important to you, but I would say maybe what? Do you have like 10, if that?
I don't have any, like, I do not quote unquote have any of those like 5-inch whatever action figures.
I'm thinking like Funko Pop.
I have two Funko Pops.
I'm thinking
I have a Godzilla.
I call those action figures, not like little
they're not like G.I. Joe, Star Wars,
no,
those
but
guys.
I don't think you have that many.
Okay. I just wanted to know.
Just to make sure?
I mean, you understand, Eric and I have been friends. I've been friends with you a little longer than Eric, but pretty darn close, right? So he thought that. I wanted to know if you thought that.
Nope, I know you don't. Because I know you cleaned it out.
I did. Then this weekend, and again, I'm saying this because I want to communicate to people who I really am. I was in Best Buy. I did not buy the new Godzilla movie. I could have.
Sure.
And
is it still $25?
Yeah.
He'll spend 20.
25 was too much.
But not 25.
I'll bet at some point
you don't
it
want
goes
to buy
on
Shin
sale.
Godzilla?
I do want to. But I was just like, you know what? You're not going to watch it this weekend because you're going to get stung in the eye by a bee tomorrow.
Which happened.
So don't buy that. Just wait on it. So I just decided not to get it. I went out of Best Buy. I got nothing. I ended up going right down the street to GameStop, and I almost bought something, and I wanted it badly.
Yeah.
But I didn't buy it.
Okay.
It was a Funko Pop. They're starting to make like some like stuffed animal like characters.
Oh, the plushy ones.
That's the word I want.
Plushie.
The plush. Yeah. They had a large Spider-Gwen plush.
Spider-Gwen?
Spider-Gwen. That's in an alternate universe where Gwen Stacy got bit by Spider-Man got bit by the spider instead of Peter Parker, and Peter Parker died at the hands of Green Goblin, and so she became Spider-Gwen. Everybody loved Spider-Gwen because I'll have to say, her costume is just spectacular. It's spectacular.
And now you can have the plushie.
She's Spider-Man with a hoodie. And
Did you not buy it because you feel like people are thinking you're buying too much then, or you just want to make it known that you are not doing this?
I want people to know that they think that I'll just buy anything.
But these are examples of you saying no this weekend.
I said no, Nikki. First off, I want everybody to know that my house isn't full of action figures. That's one.
Blu-rays and DVDs.
Shh. Two. I want everybody to know I had a chance to buy a Blu-ray of a movie that I liked and I wanted that was just released and I didn't.
Okay.
And then 3, I had a Spider-Gwen plush on clearance, mind you, for a very low price.
But you still said
that
no.
I could have brought home, and I said no.
Well, I'm proud of you. Very proud of you.
You should be really proud of me, actually.
I didn't know you had such a big weekend. Tweet more when these big things happen, like I just said no to a new plushie.
Okay. Maybe I will. But
I'm sure you'll gain followers.
I at least wanted you to know, Nikki.
Yes.
Want to know what the Riot is doing right now? Follow them on Instagram and Twitter at riot.radiou.com. It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
Do you feel like people are always watching you? Do you feel like you're the center of attention everywhere you go? Do you feel like you don't buy a Spider-Gwen plushie and everyone's talking about how you didn't buy it?
Now they follow and they know what exactly you're doing every day, every hour of the day?
Mm-hmm. According to a study at King's College and Professor Philippa Garrity, the reason you feel that way is social media.
You feel paranoia because of social media?
They say, and again, this is according to their study, that 1 in 5 individuals in modern society suffer from paranoia. Now, you may say to yourself, I'm not paranoid. Like, that's not true. And it's possible that you're not. But some people are suffering from paranoia and don't even know that they have it.
So what type of paranoia is it? Or can you explain a little bit more? I have a hard time understanding the connection between if you post a lot or look a lot on social media, you're paranoid that people are watching you.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Because wouldn't you think it would be maybe reverse of that?
Mm-hmm. Okay, how about this? Here from medicinenet.com, which I thought I was at WebMD. They all look the same. It says,
they're probably all the same.
Paranoia refers to the perception or suspicion that others have hostile or aggressive motives in interacting with them, when in fact, there's no reason for these suspicions. People experiencing paranoia believe that others are persecuting them and have delusional ideas about themselves as central figures in scenarios that in reality have nothing to do with them.
Sure, okay.
So, in other words, there's a mixture of self-importance, like this all revolves around me and none of it does. This thought that people are aggressive towards you, not true. The thought that, all these different things, and none of it's true.
Because you're just a little bit more focused on yourself when really it's just happening, but it's not happening because it's you.
Right. And so they say, according to this study, that social media is like a certain amount of us would be paranoid anyway. Like anything
this
that we
happens.
come up with, like a certain amount of people are going to have that. But they say that social media is feeding and creating paranoia in places where it shouldn't exist.
I am curious, 10, 20 years from now, when we've had time for social media stuff to sink in a lot, what will be more of the actual results of how it changed our lives?
I think it will, because it's kind of like that thing where, think about the way the telephone changed the way we as human beings interact. Back in the day, if you wanted to talk to people, that's why people had big front porches.
Oh, to yell from and to meet people?
Well, people people would come over and sit on the porch and talk to you.
And
then they quit doing that and they started calling each other.
Now who's answering the phone?
Nobody will answer the phone. We communicate via text. And a lot of times I feel connected to and in touch with hundreds of people that I haven't seen in years. Don't interact with at all. I just follow them on social media. So, I'm sure there are effects that are coming. Tagged to this study is a different study, same group of people, where they're basically telling people, hey, you need to keep... Basically, you need to keep young adults off of social media or limit their social media time. And that means literally, and I thought like ages 6 to 12? They say all the way to 18.
Oh, really?
They say that they talk about brain plasticity and the idea that the effect that it's having on your mind now is an effect that you're going to have to deal with for the rest of your life. Sounds a little alarmist, but I still think there's probably something to.
Or maybe a lot to it.
Yeah.
This was the worst of the riot, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The riot exists because Radio U exists, and Radio U only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at radiou.com/donate.
I'm in a drug-infused stupor.